Welcome to our podcast. This is the Back to Cinema podcast. I'm here with Declan.
Yep, and I'm here with Noah.
And we are just here starting our own podcast. If you don't know a little bit about us, we started around a year ago, I want to say. We tried doing a news Twitter account. It didn't go very well.
We did reviews too, which we're going to do here.
Yes, we did reviews. We wrote reviews.
Website. It's still up.
The website is still up, backtocinema.com,
Yes.
with a number two. But anyways, we did news, we did reviews, but we stopped after No Way Home, really, because we got off Twitter because we didn't want to have spoilers for No Way Home. And then after that, we kind of never went back on the Twitter. We still use Twitter every day, but we never went on the Back to Cinema Twitter, really, other than getting film news from discussing films, which we straight up were just...
We were copying. We're going to be honest.
We were copying. Discussing films would post something, and then we would.
We had a TikTok, which we're still going to start posting on again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to be on TikTok for sure. Also, if you're watching this right now, you could either be watching on Spotify, the video podcast, or you could be watching on YouTube. But if you are, hello. For the audio viewers,
Welcome in.
it's okay. We'll always be here. So, anyways, that's a little bit about us.
Yeah.
Then we decided around a month ago, I'd say, we were like, let's start a podcast. And
As every person does.
as every person does in 2022, let's be honest. So we're bringing Back to Cinema back, and we are now a podcast, and we're still going to give you movie news. If it's crazy, we'll post a TikTok about it or something. But we're going to be much more of a personality and a podcast now. And
we're going to post clips of our podcast on TikTok,
Mhm.
YouTube Shorts.
yeah.
Look out for
YouTube,
those.
yeah, look out for those. Follow the TikTok if you're not already following the TikTok. It's Back to Cinema Official.
With the two.
With the two.
The two.
Our Twitter's just Back to Cinema with the two.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I guess we could just
Let's
get right
started.
into it.
Let's get into it.
Declan, do you want to take us off with this?
I'll start off with this.
I'm just gonna check if we're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is absolutely crazy. DC, I think, has found its way
I agree.
with James Gunn and
Peter Safran.
Peter Safran.
Yes.
Now, DC's been lost for a while, and we'll get into it with the recent film Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this
Oof.
is great. What do you think about it?
This pickup, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, just them
Yeah.
now kind of taking the Kevin Feige role.
I mean, I think it's great. There was a report a few days ago that said Daniel Zaslav offered Kevin Feige the role before James
I
Gunn.
did see that. That would have been so funny.
That would have been
Just
so
rule
funny
all
if
the
Kevin
superheroes.
Feige straight up just dipped Marvel and was like, I'm gonna go do this with DC.
Sorry, I gotta do my update.
I'm bigger than Marvel. That would have been crazy if that happened. But honestly, I don't know what Daniel Zaslav was smoking. But that was never gonna happen. But I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to ask. But obviously, I think James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, all three of them, the third one coming out,
The
and
new Suicide
the new
Squad.
Suicide Squad, and
So
Peacemaker. Oh my God, Peacemaker was amazing. I think it was just a great pickup, and I'm excited to see what he does on that side.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when he directs his movies, you could tell just by the way he tweets and talks about them that they're a lot like he gets his way.
No, for sure.
Like, I think something that was so great about the Suicide Squad is that it was his film.
Well, he writes and directs.
He
too,
writes and directs,
which is perfect.
and it's like the main problem with the first Suicide Squad was that they didn't listen to the director.
Yeah.
And they made their own movie like the way they wanted. And I think that was something James Gunn went into it being like, no, we're going to make my movie. And I think he just has a really good grasp on DC and superheroes in general. And I think he
100%.
is an amazing pick to be the CEO of DC Studios.
I'm curious what they're gonna do with the timeline they have and like Robert Pattinson's universe. Like,
Yeah.
what is he gonna do there? And does he have control over that too?
No.
No.
They are giving control to two other people for the Batman universe.
But for like Superman.
Super.
Black
It's the
Adam, like this-
DCEU. Yeah, it
Well,
is.
no, it's the DCU now.
They
Got rid of the E.
got rid of the E?
They got
Is
rid
this
of the E.
news? Did I not know
is
this?
new. Oh, I saw this. They got rid of the E.
The DCU.
DCU.
Very striking.
Well, it sounds like a little of another company I know.
I don't know. MC. No, I don't know.
No.
I don't know what it is. But I mean, hey, I just think that the first initial saying of when Black Adam was coming out was like, this is gonna save DC.
It didn't.
It didn't save DC.
Spoiler, it didn't. And we'll get into it.
We'll get into it,
didn't.
but it didn't. Not in our opinions. I know. This is for later. But I think that what's really gonna save DC is James Gunn. Peter Safran is a big time producer in Hollywood. He produced Aquaman and Shazam, two of the better DC movies. Annabelle, yeah, two of the better DC movies, in the old DCEU. So I think it's good that he's handling the business side, but I think it's going to be very important that James Gunn has that creative side, because I just think I cannot wait to see what he does, because we've seen what he's done. I mean, even just from the Guardians, from the comics to the movie, the way he was able to make the Guardians like a A-list superhero team.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing, and I'm just excited to see what he does.
I'm excited for it because I think one of the biggest problems with DC is just tone.
Yeah.
Every movie, except like Batman vs Superman and like the Justice League, it feels different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marvel, it's a Marvel movie. Even if it does something different, it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and
DC just lacks proper guidance, and I feel like James Gunn is. We can't rave enough about this, man. We love James.
We love James Gunn, and I think Warner Bros. Does too. I think they realized obviously after the Suicide Squad, but after Peacemaker, really. Like Peacemaker was big, like it blew up everywhere, and no one was expecting that. I mean,
I wasn't gonna watch it. I'm gonna be honest with
you. Yeah, I mean,
and I think you told me to.
Yeah, and
it was awesome.
Amazing. It was
so cool.
The best. I'd say that is probably the best thing DC's made.
Other than Black Adam, yeah. No, I agree with you. I think Peacemaker is DC's technically best. Great reviews from critics and audiences too.
Oh yeah, critics loved it. And audiences. Oh my god, I'm like reminiscing on Peacemaker now. But yeah. So speaking on what we just were talking about, yes. Black Adam. Ooh, what a movie! What a movie!
I'm just gonna start by saying, did not make the DCU.
DCU.
Did not make it better at all. Maybe made it worse, because it just wasn't good. Oh, a little up. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it went. It just. I don't know. The best part of the movie. Spoiler alerts. First of all, if you haven't seen it, I'll put a timestamp. If you're watching the video, I'll put a timestamp where you could skip to. But I mean, if you haven't seen Black Adam by this point, what are you doing? Well, you're saving money is what you're doing. The best part of the movie was Dr. Fate. Yeah. Straight up.
100%.
And I think he was honestly who I was most excited for in the movie in the first place, but also most scared for. Because I know he was created before Doctor Strange, but they're very, very similar. And Doctor Strange has already been so established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now they're introducing Dr. Fate, who's very similar. Yeah. And I think they did an amazing job with separating them.
Yeah, but they also took some changes from the comics, I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of but it changes in the right direction, I would say, for this kind of modern day Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie, I was kind of like, I just want to see his movie. Like, I don't really care about that.
No, yeah.
But this is my biggest complaint with Black Adam was its story. It had some really cool fight scenes. That's the best part.
The fight scenes were epic. And, the whole thing about Black Adam, too, is, like, they released, like, a statement, like, a week before it came out where they're like, it was going to be rated R, but then we were like, we changed it to PG-13, so we got rid of, like, blood scenes. And there is, like, that is the coolest part is the fight scenes, and it's the coolest part about the fight scenes is when it just goes there.
Yeah, and I think I enjoyed it more if it was R.
I think I would have loved it more if it was R, because I could have focused more on, like, the fight scenes. Because the fight scenes are great, but, like, it's not all the movie. Yeah, a lot of the movie ends up being this terribly written dialogue.
The plot, all of it just seems so muddled.
Mm-hmm.
The villain, probably the worst in the DC, I'd say so far.
Yeah. What?
See, I can't even tell you his name.
I can't tell you the name of the villain either because
a big devil at the end. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he went all Justice League on us. Like, I don't even know what's happening.
I had no idea. I couldn't tell you his name.
I could not tell you. I don't
want to say one because I feel like that would just be totally
wrong. The little boy.
Oh God.
Can
we curse on this podcast?
We could curse on this podcast.
Fuck that little boy.
Fuck that. I'm sure you're a great.
You're a great actor.
Great actor. It is not your fault.
You just were given some terrible.
It was just really
dialogue.
cheesy dialogue, and it was like beyond the point of like DC cheesy. Like it wasn't
It was
like
bad.
it wasn't bearable. And then speaking of like the cheesiness, the ADR in this movie was honestly
Awful.
that pissed me off the most about the movie. For this movie, literally for Dwayne, Dwayne was amazing. Dwayne was also probably one of my favorite parts. I mean, he was like
Yeah, this movie's been in what, limbo for like 15
that's what I was
years?
gonna say. 15 years
He's
for
been wanting to do this, and you can tell, like, even though it's not like the craziest performance out there,
Mhm.
he cared a lot about the role, and he cared a lot about the movie.
Yeah, he that's what I'm saying. For this movie to have been in production for 15 years, essentially, Limbo, it wasn't always in production, obviously,
Yeah.
but Dwayne has been talking about this production for like literally
Before-
15 years.
I'm gonna be honest. Before I was born,
Before both of us were born, swear to God,
He's been wanting to do this.
he's loved this character, and I love that he loves the character so much.
And Black
but-
Widow was really cool. Like the character himself,
hmm
I thought it was, and like what they did with his son, and how like he wasn't the champion.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I
That was,
did like that.
The only well-written part of the story.
and then it gets ruined by ADR when his son is
Oh.
speaking English and
that
they
was
dubbed
terrible.
over.
That was terrible.
It was like a really bad anime dub. I don't know what was happening. And that was like a lot of the movie. None of the audio was matching. Not none of it, but like a lot of the audio was not.
It felt like an anime dub. You were totally.
It
right on
felt
that.
like an anime dub, and it wasn't our theater. It was not our like. It was
Oh,
like
we know that.
because there were times where it was like perfect.
I had to
but-
look it up. I looked it up when I got home. Like, did anyone else experience this ADR? Like,
Yeah.
Crap. Everyone did. It wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, the main boy would be like talking something. He'd be like, he is starting like a revolution with like the crowd,
Oh, that was
and like
terrible, too.
it's like a shot of it like going this way, like panning to the right, and like his mouth is just not saying what the words are saying on
Or
screen.
in the beginning, like the mercenaries, they would have a gun like blocking their face, and all of a sudden they just say words, and it's like you didn't say anything right now. You got him freeze.
I also just want to pause for a second and say, for those who are watching over the video, you probably saw, but this is our this is our first episode, but it's also our Halloween episode. We are filming this on October 31st, so we are currently in our costumes. I'm Fred from Scooby Doo.
I'm Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
And our girlfriends are Velma and Daphne.
And our friend is Scooby.
Our friend is Scooby. Evan, shout out to you. You're a real one.
Back to Black Adam.
Back to Black Adam.
Should we get to the worst part of the movie?
Take it away.
Noah Centineo. I don't know.
Noah
I'm being
Centineo.
honest, I don't know how he keeps getting roles. Actually, I don't want to knock him down.
I don't want to knock him down. I don't want to knock him down. We're not hating.
We're not hating the podcast, even though we've kind of done most of that this episode so far.
Well, the thing with Noah Centineo is I saw it even on TikTok. Like a lot of people were saying they remind him of Mark Ruffalo.
I saw that too, and it's true.
It is true, but I like Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's actually good.
I like Noah Centineo too. Like I want to like him.
This is the thing. I feel like he had potential.
He did have
I-
potential, and I think Noah Centineo specifically has been given a lot of bad scripts,
The
like
worst.
including
The
Black
worst
Adam.
scripts.
But like
Put him in a good
SPF,
movie, he
what
could
was it?
probably do
SPF
good.
18.
Oh, SPF 18, best movie of all time.
Where's my disco ball? Anyone want to get some
You'd
smoothies?
probably be very confused right now, but I urge you to go watch that movie.
SPF, is it SPF
I
18?
think it's SPF 18, starring Keanu Reeves.
He's not gonna lie, he's only in the end for like 5 seconds, and he has
It's just
one line. But and then there's like a saxophone sex on the beach.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
In like a tent too.
But then like all the what was it? What
The boys, are all the boys that loved before?
Was it that
Heroes?
one?
Or was the kiss one?
it was the kiss.
The kissing?
Yes, it was. No,
No, that's Joey King.
was it to all the boys I loved before? What was he in?
I think it's all the boys. I think
To all the boys that.
all I loved before.
Yeah, we'll say
Yes,
that.
because the third one came out, and he's even worse in that one than he was in the other one. Maybe because it's script.
We're gonna say it's the script. Noah, you seem like a cool dude. We have the same name.
If you want to be on the pod, hit us up.
Come hit us up. I mean, I think it's. I mean, here's the thing. Any of those actors, they're probably great, but you get the call saying you're gonna be in a DC movie, just a superhero movie in general, and 98% of the people in Hollywood are gonna be like, yes, please. There's very few people that would be like decline that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my god, if DC offered me something, I'd be like on my knees. I'd be,
if I
Thank
got
you.
Most of the news role, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. 100%
Yeah.
why not?
I don't care. Like, just put me in the movie. The script could be god awful. I don't care.
That's probably what he said.
Exactly.
You gotta be like a cool superhero.
But his character was just, it was written like someone was trying to write for Gen Z. It felt like.
Well, it reminded me too much of, he was like trying to be Deadpool, trying to be the funny guy.
Yeah.
Without any of the humor, like, like they just that was it, you know.
Yeah, he was trying to be the funny guy, but it just didn't work. I mean, his whole Uncle Hal thing.
Yeah, his uncle like has the same name as him and also was Adam Smasher, but they just kind of like, it's also Henry Winkler.
They brush over that real fast.
Oh, it's within 5 seconds. But let me tell you, what was arguably one of the best parts about Black Adam is that post-credit scene.
Oh my
Take it away.
god!
What happened in that post-credit scene?
Well,
Spoilers.
first of all, I'm just gonna say it was about the middle of the movie, and I was like, I really want to leave right now. I've never walked out of a movie, and I was like, well, I was tired. I wouldn't have walked out of it if it was like midday. But it was, we saw it at the 10:30, so it was like 11:30. I had just done a show. I do theater. Get over it. I had just done a show. I was tired. It's like, dang, I kind of regret seeing this right now. I'm like, maybe I'll just go home. The movie's not that good. But then I'm like, no, I've seen the tweets. People hyping up this post-credit scene. I had an idea what it was going to be. And my God, am I glad I stayed for that.
Yeah, because...
You say it.
Henry Cavill is back as Superman.
He's back, baby.
And I saw something there's a Man of Steel 2?
Man of Steel 2 is in talks. I mean, Henry Cavill signed a contract clearly because he dropped his role in The Witcher.
Okay, yes. We should put that.
We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
We'll talk about that after this.
Henry Cavill is back as Superman. At the end, it's implied there's going to be a showdown between him and Black Adam. What's
interesting is that DC actually had a backup plan if he didn't re-sign his contract.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And it was going to be that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, Black Adam, was going to be holding a headless Superman body, which would have been dope.
That would have been crazy if he killed him and he didn't even see it.
Yeah, if they were gonna do that, that would have been great, honestly. But I mean, it's even better that Henry Cavill is back. But I think that would have been a great backup plan. And I think it's really cool that they were gonna do that. But obviously, Henry Cavill's back, so
I'm gonna say right now, he's been my favorite part of the terrible DCU universe.
Him or Ben Affleck.
Or I do love Gal Gadot. Oh.
No, I was just gonna say like what I'm like thinking about everything. I'm like, I like all of them individually.
Yes, not together though.
Not
Justice
together.
League was not good.
No, Justice League was not good,
But
and even the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut was better, but let's be honest, it was not.
It was also most of
God's
it slow-mo
giving.
Snyder Cut.
Oh my God, half the movie was slow mo. Well, that's another topic.
That's another podcast.
We're gonna get hate for that. I love the Snyder Cut. I love the Snyder Cut. But I think, Henry Cavill has been amazing. He's a great Superman, and I'm so glad that we are getting that Man of Steel too.
Yeah, he cares about this role so much.
Mm-hmm. I believe they're still looking for a director for that. They're not doing Zack Snyder, right? But let's do it. We're gonna do a new Lex Luthor. We're recasting. But yeah, do you want to talk about The Witcher? No?
Yeah, so it just came out yesterday. I think so, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That Liam Hemsworth will be replacing Henry Cavill in The Witcher. Now, Henry Cavill's been doing this for 3 seasons?
So he's done it for 3 seasons. This is crazy because Henry Cavill is such a nerd.
Yes, he
and
loves.
I mean, he released during quarantine a 5-minute time lapse of him building a PC. Yeah, like he's like a nerd of the nerd.
He's the nerd. But in the past, Henry Cavill's had some creative differences.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a big fan of the video games.
Yes.
He said he's played it all of his life. He loves the video games.
So he's all about accuracy with these things.
Yes.
And I know in the past he's had to deal with the studio and executives not giving him the accuracy he wanted and the storytelling he wanted. And I don't know if it was because of that or because of scheduling with Superman or a mix of both.
I mean, I could see the mix of both, but I do think it is most likely because I feel like he kind of could have got his way if he wanted on The Witcher.
I feel like he's Henry Cavill.
That's what I'm saying, and but he's most likely has just signed a multi-film deal with DC.
I would imagine, yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do with it. Are they gonna wipe what had happened before
with The Witcher or Superman?
With Superman.
I don't think so, because they haven't wiped anything yet in the DC.
Well, but just like everything, not even just Superman actually. Like,
well, okay, so the Flash is coming out.
The Flash is coming out, and they said they're writing Flash 2, and they did say they're recasting Ezra Miller after the first Flash movie.
I imagine that they are going to kind of change the universe to make everything fit the way they want it now.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to. I mean, James Gunn, if he pulls this off, it'll be amazing. He has so much work to do.
But I think give it 5 years. You think?
5 years, yeah,
5 years,
that's fair.
I think DC could be as big, if not bigger, than Marvel, if they play their cards right. That was a hot take.
Yes, I mean, we talked about this earlier, and we talked about this earlier, and we didn't like really talk about it, but the separation between the DCU and the Batman, and I think because with the whole Nolan movies in like the late 2000s, right? I think DC was very. I mean, the first two came out before Iron Man did, right? The first two Batmans.
Yeah, I believe so.
And like so DC like kind of started off good, and obviously there's the Spider-Mans before that, but there wasn't like a universe, and I think that's exactly what they're gonna do with the Batman. Is I think they're kind of just gonna keep it separate. Same with like Joker. It's the same guy that's overviewing the Batman is doing Joker too, but they're still separate universes. They're just just like overlooking that side of DC, the more darker side, I'd say.
Well, speaking of that Batman universe,
yeah,
there is a spin-off show announced.
Yeah,
the Arkham Asylum. Well, so this was originally the Gotham PD show.
This was the Gotham PD show, but I did see reports saying that it changed, but then like. There's new reports saying they're still going to do that Gotham PD show eventually.
It's so early, but I think they're going to combine the two, which I think is smart. Go into the villains before, and like so you can establish these villains, and then have Batman fight them in his own movies. You know.
Quick question: who would you want to see? You'll ask me after.
Yeah.
Who would you want to see in this Arkham Asylum show? I'll give you 5 villains. Realistically, who are we going to see?
I want to see Scarecrow.
Okay.
Okay. Should I go in order of how much I want to see them? Or just 5 villains?
Just 5 villains.
I want to see Clayface, and that's my number 1. I want to see Clayface.
They did go out and say they are doing a Scarecrow and Clayface. They're working on separate projects for them.
Okay, but I just want to see these villains.
It would make sense for them to introduce them in the show.
I don't think if they because there's a lot of rumors about Mr. Freeze and Batman too.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to do that route, I don't want to see him in this yet. But I want to see Scarecrow. I want to see Clayface. Maybe not Two-Face yet.
Maybe Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent.
In the show. I would love him to visit Arkham Asylum.
I want to see Killer Croc, but not big Killer. Like I kind of like what they did in the first Suicide Squad. That he's just like low key He was a mutation, and he was strong. He could swim with the water. I kind of like that Killer Croc. It's more of a realistic story.
Yeah.
I want to see Victor Zsasz. I want to see the kind of smaller kind of villain. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The guy with the scars, for any of you who like.
From Telltale.
Telltale. Oh, yes.
Oh, John Doe.
Telltale games are so good. And I think we're bound to see Barry Keoghan's Joker.
Yeah,
which we love.
Mm-hmm.
We loved his Joker.
I loved his Joker.
And he's not even like the Joker yet, but we just. Or did they say his name in it? I think we should see Paul Dano again.
I think he's been the Joker for like a year, but I don't think he's like calling himself the Joker because Batman would have called him Joker, right? Here's my list. Okay, I would do Riddler, Joker, because I think we know they're there. We literally the last scene is them laughing in the jail cell together. Cool. That was dope. Clayface, Scarecrow, and then I do want like another less known villain there that I want them to develop, and I think it'd be cool. I mean, I know they were just doing this in Batgirl, but I would love to see like a Firefly. But I would also. Well, what was his name for Batman the Brave and the Bold? Music Maestro? What's his name?
The Music Meister?
The Music Meister. Played by Neil Patrick Harris, please.
Neil Patrick Harris back.
But no, I think that show's going to be really good. And they actually found a director. It's going to be Antonio Campos, who did Devil All the Time, is what he did.
Oh.
So he hasn't done much.
That was
solid direction. He hasn't done much more. He's done a few more. I'm just not saying them.
I think, from what I've seen, he can take this show in a cool direction.
Exactly, and he hasn't done superhero specifically, but again, this isn't a superhero story. This is about supervillains, and I think it's gonna be cool to see what he does.
Is Matt Reeves supervising this?
Yes, Matt Reeves is supervising the whole universe, but he's not like.
Feige for this universe.
Yes, except he's like not.
But he's not at all.
But he is, because it's like his. But like he's not. He doesn't have that title.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited to see what Antonio Campos does with it, and
that's a show I really want. I'm excited for. I think Penguin might probably be, even though he's getting his own show.
We could talk about that too, because there's new casting today. Kristen Milotti, from Once the musical. What else is she? I can't say the one I'm thinking because it's like a spoiler.
She was in that one Andy Samberg movie.
Palm Springs. She was great in Palm Springs. Great in Palm Springs.
What else she's been in,
she was in she was in Black Mirror.
Yeah, for those you who know, she's in a very famous TV show.
And it's like a big reveal.
But she's great.
She's great. I love her.
I'm really excited for that one. And she's playing Falcone's kid.
Yeah, Falcone's daughter, I think, which is gonna be so dope.
Cool.
Especially after what we just saw in the Batman. Is it a prequel?
The Penguin series, yes.
Is it a prequel to the Batman, or is it? I'm not sure.
No, I think it's now that Falcone,
I think it's him taking over. Yeah.
Falcone's dead by the end.
Yeah, and you've seen the Batman by now.
Penguin was his number 2, so now Penguin will be taking over Falcone's kind of business, and I think
it'll be some good conflict between the daughter and him for sure. Enough with DC though.
Screw DC.
Let's get back into Marvel. I'm a big fan of Marvel. I always like what they put out. I have a friend who is very critical of Marvel, and he likes DC more. That's fine, Ryan.
Ryan.
But I mean, some people say Marvel's too cheesy now. I don't think so. I think Marvel knows exactly what they're doing, and I think they're playing their cards right.
It is a transitional period in Marvel, I'll say that.
It is a transitional period.
Once we start getting into, I think Ant-Man's going to start it off, which was a great trailer that came out last week.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are complaining about the CGI in it, and I mean, first of all, you knew this movie was going to be like this. First of all, it's literally about the quantum realm, which
CGI.
Is going to be all CGI in the first place. And I think for what they did, it looks good.
And Bill Murray's in it, so like...
Bill fucking Murray's in it.
Come on, guys. Movie Bill Murray's in.
That is going to be great. I'm excited. And, I mean, Jonathan Majors. Jinx.
Two sodas.
Jonathan Majors is amazing.
Oh, dude, Creed 3.
Stop.
That's why we started this.
That's why we started this podcast, because we think of a lot of the same things. But Creed, he looks amazing in Creed 3, but he looks great as King the Conqueror. We haven't seen him since Loki. People don't think he's going to be the main villain of Ant-Man. People are like, MODOK is going to be. Because the big theory is that MODOK is actually going to be Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket. Well, I think that... Has that not been confirmed?
Is it confirmed? I'm not sure if it's confirmed.
I think it's so...
We did see the big helmet, remember?
It's so speculated at this point that it is confirmed.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole Spider-Man situation.
And people do, and we know MODOK's in the movie, so people are like, oh, they're just like trying to hype up Kang. Because we do know Kang has his whole Avengers, he has an Avengers movie to himself, essentially.
Does it have 2, or are they separate? Is it a 2-parter or no?
No, it's Avengers Kang Dynasty, and the second one is Avengers Secret War.
A year later.
It is only a year later.
That's going to be
so I wonder, there's going to be some big twist. We know that.
I think so. I think someone who's just cast in Ant-Man. What's his name?
Why am I blanking
on this too? I looked for you so you could say.
Chidi from Good Place.
Chidi from The Good Place. We'll call him. He's a phenomenal actor.
He's great. He's one of my top picks for Richard.
And that's why I think he should be.
Richard. I was gonna say Richard Reed.
Richard Reed.
Reed Richard. I think he's gonna be. I think that's what he's gonna be, and I think they're setting it up for it. And I think people are like, no, he's not. He's listed as something else. I don't care. I don't trust Marvel. I don't trust them with anything. They're going to tell us lies, and I think it's going to be a big reveal. It makes sense. There's the whole theory that the Fantastic Four is stuck in the Quantum Mania.
Makes sense. And he's a perfect pick. Perfect.
I think that he's definitely in my top 3 for that role, and I would not be upset at all if he was it. I think it'd be great. And Jonathan Majors, Kang, is supposed to be Nathaniel Richards, who's like a descendant of Reed Richards. It makes sense. I would love the casting if that was true. And if it isn't, I love him as an actor, so I'm excited to see him in the MCU anyways.
You know what's another great casting?
Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yahya.
Yahya has been one of my favorite actors. I've always raved you about Yahya.
He's loved Yahya before I really knew Yahya's work.
I didn't even realize Yahya was in The Greatest Showman until like a few months ago.
Wait, what? Who was he?
He was Zendaya's brother.
Yeah, Zendaya's brother.
And Yahya, you know what else he was in?
What?
Baywatch.
I I did know that.
He was the cop in Baywatch.
So Yaya is playing Wonder Man.
Yes.
It's been confirmed. And
which there was a bunch of fan casting for Henry Golding for that role and Nathan Castle. Nathan.
Him?
Yeah, Nathan Fillion.
He's a little old for Wonder Man.
Yeah, those were the two. Those were like the two fan casting, and I never saw Yaya in the fan cast.
No.
And I almost thought it was like confirmed Henry Golding was going to be the role.
Well, I low-key think Henry Golding might be James Bond, which would be really cool. But
That would be cool. He's one of my favorite picks for that.
Yaya.
We're talking about Yaya. Yaya is going to be great as Wonder Man. I love his work.
Think of like him. Even though the new Matrix movie was not that good, he was awesome as he is. He's an action star. He's a leading man.
Yeah, I mean, Ambulance. We're not going to talk about that.
I was thinking Ambulance today. We're talking about Yaya.
Candyman.
I'm gonna get you out of here, brother.
He's just a great actor, and I love him. And I'm all here on the Yaya train.
The Yaya train.
I'm on the Yaya train. Doot, doot.
Next stop, Wonder
Man. Okay, so now we're gonna do a little segment, which is this week at the box office. So, can I get a little drum roll? Okay, so coming in at number 1, this is the weekend of October 28th through the 30th.
Yes.
So Black Adam's number 1.
Which didn't have a decrease from last week, like a big drop.
Yes, it's a 58% drop.
Wow. Okay.
To be fair though, this has been Hollow Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine. This is probably a harder week to sell.
Probably
the hardest weekend.
Of the year.
Cause like it's like a guaranteed party. Cause even like Christmas, I feel like sometimes families go to the movies.
I know that's tradition for like Thanksgiving and Christmas. People go to movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Christmas has Christmas movies showing too.
Yeah, and Halloween's there's like Halloween horror movies, but Halloween itself and like those couple days around it is very much like partying. I feel like.
You know?
So Black Adam came in still at number 1 though by a lot at 27.7 million. This is domestic, by the way. This isn't worldwide. Number 2 is Ticket to Paradise. That came 10 million. That was also down 39%. That's the George Clooney, Julia Roberts. Fun fact: did you know Julia Roberts, her birth doctor check? Do you know about this?
I think I've heard about this.
Was paid for by Martin Luther King Jr.
I did see that.
That's crazy. Because apparently, like my dad just came and told me right before we did this. Apparently, like Martin Luther King,
what a man.
Like there was like black children in the valley where they were living, where like they wanted to do acting but they couldn't, and Julia Roberts' parents owned like an acting studio, and they were like, please, like, get them in here.
Yeah.
And then right after that, she went and had her kid Julia Roberts, and Martin Luther King like covered the bill.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
That's so cool.
And it was like a year before he died, but that is just so crazy. I mean, that's such like a small world thing.
That's just MLK being MLK.
That's MLK being MLK.
Thank you.
Number 3 is Pray for the Devil at 7 million. No. This is the opening weekend for that. Smiles at number 4, 5 million, down 40%. Halloween Ends is at 5.
Halloween, but that just came out.
This weekend?
No, last week.
Last weekend. It's also down 52% at 3.8 million.
Oh, gosh.
Lila Crocodile, starring Shawn Mendes and Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem's in Lila Crocodile?
He is like the lead.
She's not Lyle?
Lyle doesn't talk. Lyle only sings.
I've been seeing clips on TikTok, and I really want to watch this movie and review it.
Maybe we'll do a segment where we watch Lila Crocodile.
I think that'd be good.
I think that'd be great. That's down 33%. Made 2.8 million. That's rough. Till is up. I think Till just came out this week though.
What is that?
That's about Emmett Till, which was like a killing.
Who's in that?
I don't know, but I've been seeing trailers for it. It looks good. That made 2.8 million. It's up. And then Terrifier 2 coming at number 8, which is up 2.7%, which is this is the third weekend.
I saw that. It's a crazy.
And the budget for that movie was like $250K.
Yeah, they're making great money on it.
And they've made 7.8 million, I believe.
That's great.
Which is a great turnaround.
It was a small budget, but I've heard it's absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, I heard like people were passing out in the theaters.
Yes.
The guy, one of the kids who's in it is like on my TikTok. He makes music.
Is he really?
Shout out to you. You know who you are.
Yeah,
You were.
You'll see this.
And then just closing off 9 and 10. 9 is The Woman King. And then Tar officially released this week, which I want to see so bad, with Cate Blanchett. Blanchett. Who I believe is gonna win Best Oscar this year for Best Actress. Best Actress for the. And so yeah, Tar came at 10th, making $1 million. But the box office kind of boring this weekend. Halloween weekend. That's the box office for this
Hopefully next
pod.
time will be a little more interesting.
If we're doing this, we're just trying to decide if we're gonna do this podcast bi-monthly or bi-weekly, or every week. We're gonna play it by time.
Yeah.
See how much time we have.
Maybe sometimes it could change.
But if this is coming out, if the next one's in 2 weeks, what's coming on the horizon is, Black Panther's coming out in 2 weeks.
Oh,
A lot of things coming out. I can't think after that.
Black Panther.
Black Panther 2. But next week is Armageddon. Time and The Estate is coming out. I think The Menu's coming out in 2 weeks too.
Oh.
Which is gonna be good.
Is that what Ray finds?
Is that Voldemort?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only knew Voldemort. I know Nicholas Hoult and Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
Oh,
that's good. That's good.
But that's what's coming out in the next few weeks. But one thing we have left is our speedy reviews segment. Do we have anything?
In the last... No, this is back to cinema. It's the Cinema Channel.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones recently.
You're watching Game of Thrones?
And I just want to give a shout out. Game of Thrones is awesome. I'm on season 7. Just the Battle of the Bastards just happened end of season 6. It's amazing. I've been trying to get him to watch it for a while. Yeah, that's all. It's just so good. There's not much more to say.
I'm gonna try. He told me to watch it, and I was gonna watch it with him. I got to like episode 4, and then I'm like, oh yeah, what episode are you on? And he was on like season 3 already. And I was like, God damn it. I was like trying to watch it with him, and he was already so ahead. So I kind of just like gave up after that.
This is the thing I realized after watching Game of Thrones. Kit Harington plays the exact same character in the Eternals.
Really?
Yes.
The exact?
Well, his whole thing is he's the Black Knight, or what is it? You know?
Yeah. That's gonna be in Blade, which is a mess. We'll keep that for another time.
Or Justice from Mahershala Ali.
True.
But anyway, he plays the exact same character. But Kit Harington, the gem. I can't wait for his future in the MCU.
Yeah. I think that is gonna be a cool movie when it gets figured out.
You know what we can review real quick because it's gonna be relevant. Avatar.
Oh, Avatar. Yes, we can review. We saw the re-release back in September. And
It changed our lives.
my God, I hadn't seen it. I saw it in theaters in 2009 or 10, whenever it came out, and I think I was literally 6 years old. But I remember loving it. I remember going to McDonald's and buying all the toys, $1 each. If you don't know that, $1 per toy, and I loved it. But I'd never, over the years, I kind of almost forgot about it. But they re-released it in September because they are releasing Avatar 2: The Way of Water.
The trailer comes out.
Trailer comes out tomorrow. If you're watching this on November 1st,
Yes.
comes out November 2nd, Wednesday, November 2nd. We're assuming it's gonna be a trailer with dialogue, not just visual. Visuals look stunning though.
It was.
But they re-released it, and we went and saw it. They like did some stuff to like fix some CGI, I think.
They did take out the hair sex scene.
Yeah.
Which was a little disappointing.
But I mean, it was honestly incredible. We saw it IMAX 3D, and it changed. It's on my top 4 movies of all time now.
For 2009.
My gosh.
Yes, okay. Yes, the story may be a little cliche at times. Some of the dialogue's not well written sometimes. It's one of those movies where it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the story is fantastic. A lot of the dialogue is fantastic. And the visuals are probably the best in any movie ever.
It's just amazing.
And I'm willing to say that.
That movie is so amazing, and
So
I don't care. There's people in the internet, like, people don't care. Like, people aren't gonna care about Avatar 2. Yes, they are.
This is the reason it's the highest gross movie of all time.
People are going to go back in the theaters, even just because it's like, even because of the story. It's been 10 years. They're re-releasing this movie, or they're not. They're making a sequel to this movie after 10 years. Like, it's gonna get people in the seats. It's gonna be amazing.
What happens to Jake Sully?
Jake Sully, did he lie again? I don't know.
We don't know. We didn't see it. Water.
So look out for that trailer coming out very soon.
And probably next pod we will talk about it. We'll be talking about Avatar for the next year.
next we'll be talking about Avatar for the next 10 years with this next release schedule with Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming out over the next 10 years. That's gonna be great. But anyways, that is gonna wrap up our pod.
Yeah, I think so.
We've been back to cinema. I'm Noah.
I'm Declan.
And thanks for watching. If you liked it, save the podcast or subscribe to us on YouTube if you're on YouTube. Yeah. Go follow our TikToks. Go follow all our socials.
The Twitter.
Beacons.ai/B2C has all of our links on it. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. Podcast. And yeah, we will see you guys another time.
Peace.
Peace.